We got ourselves together, team one, together with Cries of Bad. Loaded himself up looking like a gold dad. Playing out and back to the destruction on that team. We got Engel as a Frost DK with a massive two-hander. We have ourselves G-Funk in the back, looking like a Kyrian, but could be a big surprise. QB as a Feral Druid, and Taxi in the back on the Orc Warlock. So he's playing in his main for today. Got ourselves Lyrical God X in the back with Chokes gonna be first up as a Necrolord Paladin. We got Chokes too in the back with a what is it? Spit Cuse, and Sherm just chilling, watching the door from the side. Gonna be the stun into Chokes into a Remorse's Winter Stone, double stun coming for Engel, who's just popping off Magic Shell to protect himself from the holy damage, gripping Chokes back on top of him. Chokes activating wings, trying to go for damage as soon as the Death Knight sees the wings sprouting from behind the Paladin. Hits him with the Chain of Ice, trying to slow him down, trying to hamper his movement, and is going to just Wraith walk away from him. So I think trying to see if he can go maybe for a juke. Going to be that IBF as the hatch comes down and the Paladin jumps down from the bridge. Chokes continue to put pressure on the Death Knight. The DK is consistently rotating defenses as best as he can to try to give himself as much damage, as much defensiveness, just to survive the Paladin out, but has to rotate defensives, even though IBF seems like a really big cooldown. Chokes building up for that holy power, no wings for a while, so Engel should be mostly okay until Chokes gets himself a big proc. It's gonna be a trick out of Engel as he sees Chokes walking to him, blind into Remorse's Winter to land that stun. Is gonna land that stun with some cooldowns rolling in. Is gonna try to see if he can just blast through Chokes, trying to go for a big blitz, but Chokes recovers. The damage still continuing to come out for Engel, but he's getting locked down onto Chokes, but the flesh cap stops the burst out of Engel in place. That flesh cap is so good for Retribution Paladin, because even if you get locked out on Holy, you just get shadow cast. The green marble caramelizes around Chokes. And Engel is going to have to play defensive. Might want to be looking for his own flesh cup as well. So that's going to be Chain of Ice onto Chokes. Could maybe go for a quick flesh cup while the Paladin is at bay. I don't think the Paladin is going to go for a hand or for him pulling you up. Going to be that flesh cut up for Engel just to get himself a little bit of that recovery with immunity to CC for a little bit. Regenerating health from the Marilyn Soulbind. Actually catching up on a lot of health back. And the man should be okay for a little bit. Chokes has wings coming back in 14 seconds. It's going to be Engel backing up out of this. As soon as he sees the hand of freedom out of Chokes, he wants to stay away from him, wants to be able to control him or at least run away. Stunned by Chokes, not going for wings just yet. Still is going to sink in a bunch of damage into Engel. Engel with the blessing of, not Spell Warden, but it is going to be actually, it is Spell Warden. Going to be proccing on him in order to get himself that shield. Going to be the Chokes with a trinket. Might just have to bubble this out here. Blind by Engel. Still continue to get the grippy hand. Slapping at Chokes, but looks like he's going to back up out of this. Seen wings, wants to play this defensively. AMS is the only thing he has a defensive, but also anti-magic zone to reduce some of the magic damage coming out. Engel not using AMS just yet. Chokes catching the Hodge onto Engel. If only he pre-MS that one, then he would have been able to immune it completely. AMS coming out for Engel as he sees wings still rolling for the Paladin. Continuing to slam down holy damage into Engel. The AMS is down. The Death Knight doesn't have much. That's going to be Lichborn coming out. Maybe with the Conduit can have a 10% damage reduction with it, but also the Death Coil heals is going to have the gavel thrown at him. And Chokes continue to just put the pressure on him. I keep calling the Necrolord ability the gavel. It is not even called gavel, but that's going to be that big Divine Storm capping out. The Death Knight was caught kind of low, and Chokes hits him out with that AoE. It's not the gavel, but I'm going to still keep calling it the gavel, so most of you guys know what it is. It's a big old hammer that you throw down. This has to be something about like a soul bind or something about that ability. Or has to do with the ability. It's called the gavel, right? There has to be something. There's a reason why I thought it was called gavel, right? The Necrolord ability, but it has the word no word gavel in there. It has to be like a conduit or something. Just call it the Nod Gavel. What is it called actually? Somebody give me like a actual tooltip. Gonna be a starter to Cupid. Trinkets out of it, popping off wall, trying to get some damage and pressure onto Chokes. Chokes with the double shields. First one was the flesh cap. Use the bubble from the earlier opener by the Druid, but that's gonna be Shield of Vengeance. Trying to stay aggressive with him. Gonna be a Friends of Region with Thorns. Gonna be a Shield of Vengeance. Popping off onto QB. He's gonna have to play this defensively. He's also playing that Necrolord, so it's gonna be a lot of pressure versus Chokes. Got himself Feral Frenzy. No Tiger's Fury with it. Maybe he can get the Swarm on Chokes, so at least get some damage out of it. Gonna be Chokes continuing to generate holy power. Vanquish's Hammer? Yeah, I think you're right. It is called Vanquish's Hammer. So can someone check the conduit? Maybe does the conduit say the gavel or gavel in there? for the Vanquish's Hammer. Quick Cyclone trying to come out for QB, but that's going to be a nasty rebuke out of Chokes. QB, seeing that Cyclone not happening, just goes for a freebie Flesh Cup while in bear form. Did he use a Battle Master Trick with him? I'm not seeing this Feral Clan glowing with a faint red. Gonna be a stun by Chokes, able to blast through the Flesh Cup, getting the back-to-back procs versus QB, but QB is just continued to put in a ton of pressure into the Paladin, as the Paladin is out of defense except for Blessing or Protection. Does the Paladin use Bob? There he goes. Gonna be a Cyclone out of QB. Quick rebuke by the Paladin as QB jumps in a bear form. QB already was expecting to get interrupted on Cyclone. He already had the bear form ready. Stun out of bear. Could be really bad for QB. Does he go down? I think Chokes does take him out. Oh my goodness. These Paladins, man. The legendary is called something Gavel? Duty Bound Gavel. That's why I keep calling it the Gavel. It's the Lego effect. That's what it is. Kreisbad is going to be up next. Chokes getting seduced by the Succubus. Maybe in 9-2 it might be the Incubus. By the way, have you guys seen the model for the Incubus? That thing looks good. That's a good model. Gonna be Decimated Bolt out of Kreisbad. So many Necrolords. Has Reflect available in case a Hodge comes out from Chokes. Chokes able to catch up with a little bit of heals. Has an Absorb. Massive damage from this Incinerates, and Kreisbad jumps downstairs. He still has one more Incinerate to go. If only he stayed above, he might have been able to singe the last bits of life out of Chokes with that last Incinerate, but now he's gonna have to save it for a little bit later. Chaos Bolt into an Incinerate. Never got Incinerate off. Quick Flesh Cut by Chokes, and there's no way for Kreisbad to interrupt it since he's playing the Succubus, not the Fell Puppy. Gonna be Bonds of Fell, but Chokes already has a Flesh Scapt available for it. Trying to, I think he already broke Bonds of Fell. It's like looks like he was trying to stay within the zone, but then he didn't quite move. Gonna be a port out of Kreisbad, making some distance. Chokes is gonna have to use that line of sight that's created with this pillar for a second, just to approach him slowly but surely. Inferno slamming down next to Chokes. Chaos Bolt loaded up by Kreisbad. Into a Decimated Bolt is gonna catch Chokes, maybe somewhat low. That Decimated Bolt still does quite a bit of damage, especially since Chokes was lower than 100%. Even with the Shield of Vengeance, that Decimated Bolt will still snapshot your health bar. So Kreisbad is going to have not the biggest Incinerates, but still has a bit of a bite for those things. Going to be a pony up for Chokes. I think he's expecting Kreisbad to go for a full port. That's going to be big Casbah. Incinerates coming through. Chokes going to be in a really big trouble. Bubble available very soon. Does have ways to keep himself afloat. 7 minutes into this duel. Incinerates are still just massively just obliterating the health bar, singeing away from him. Going to be potentially bubble out of Chokes unless he puts himself in a line of sight. Incinerate almost gets through him. Does toss out that Vanquish's Hammer. Change it up a bit, boys. It's not a Gavel. What's up, Cylon? Gonna be Judgment's Throne. Add the Warlock, landing a Fear quickly onto Chokes, reversing this with a Chaos Bolt and a Bonds of Fell. Both of them should be hitting at the same time. Decimated Bolt smacking Chokes as he's low in health. Kreisbad just needs a couple Incinerates. Trying to go for Incinerate 1. Incinerate 2. Is that gonna be enough? Bubble out of Chokes as Incinerate is about to hit him. Decides, you know what? I'm immune it. So Kreisbad lost 2 Incinerates that are empowered. Was that maybe 3? He might have one more cooked up in the back. I'm not seeing this swirly, spinny ball that's supposed to be around him when he hit Decimating Bolt, but maybe that animation goes away once you put Flesh Scout, which could be a thing. So maybe he still has one in the chamber. We don't really know. Looks like Choke's actually just waiting behind the pillar. He actually doesn't really need to. I was gonna say it is EDC for a second because we had that last week. We had a Shadow Priest versus a Rogue, and then the Rogue at some point just stopped moving, just stand still. And I thought maybe it's a DC. Hopefully Chokes isn't DC'd. Maybe just AFKing just to wait some cooldowns. Maybe he's just making Kreisbad think that he's DC'd. You're just walking at him, but he is walking slowly. Hand of Freedom. Maybe there was a bit of a lag. Chaos Bolt getting settled by Kreisbad. Into a second bolt, trying to burn through. The Flesh Cut is able to puncture right through it. That second Chaos Bolt is going to connect, but Chokes was already there, fast on a draw, catching up on healing. It's going to have to cross that middle area. There's going to be the Succubus with the perma slows. Kreisbad with the Fierce run you in the opposite direction. It's going to be really difficult catching up to Kreisbad since he's got so much CC in order to keep you at bay. Bonds are fell. So are you going to back up? Are you going to rush at Kreisbad? Chaos Bolt while full burst is up into Reflect by Kreisbad in case a Hodge comes out. Chokes at you to max out the damage as best as he can. Is that going to be a Succubus CC? How about to turn around on the pony as a Fear almost coming out for Kreisbad? Hodge comes out. Wall of the trigger for Kreisbad. Get it slow. Auto Chokes says no more Hand of Freedom. Literally Kreisbad just outrunning Chokes because the Curse of Exhaustion is just super terrible for a class like a Paladin. Decimating Bolt after a Chaos Bolt with big Incinerators to follow through. Gonna be big damage. Chokes catch some line inside. Kreisbad just sneeze. A couple of those Incinerators to fly. You just see a few of those. Bonds of Fell. Chokes breaks it immediately. And Kreisbad has a good line of sight. Landing Incinerate, maybe can get him up. It's going to be a line of sight. Chokes knows how to duck behind no cover. He's just trying to get away from the barrage, the assault of just artillery fire that is Kreisbad. Hammer Justice around the corner, maybe a Succubus CC with a Seduction. Gonna be Wake of Ashes stunning the Succubus, so there's no way the Succubus can even do anything. Kreisbad pointing upwards, has himself mobility, just needs a couple Incinerates. Fear with a Mortal Call onto Chokes, but actually goes for Flesh Cut instead. Could have maybe ended the duel right there with a couple Incinerates back to back, going for Drain Life. And Chokes is actually gonna be behind the pillar. Look for a second, like he was gonna walk at Kreisbad, get in a Flesh Cup of his own. Is gonna be some immunity while his Shadow Flesh Cup. No way for Kreisbad to deal with it, no way to interrupt it. Quick fear onto Chokes. And I don't believe he has any more of those Decimating Bolts. I think the effect is gone. No longer has the empowered Incinerates. And Chokes with that Curse of Exhaustion, with the Pet Slow. It's just so rough to walk at Kreisbad, especially since he's denying you a lot of holy power. You have your Vanquish's Hammer with the Necrolord ability. You use the Wake of Ashes just to generate holy power, just to get one more Word of Glory. Just one more. The Succubus running right next to Chokes as he's trying to catch up and heals. Mortal Coil does create some line of sight, but Kreisbad does reposition. Fear onto Chokes. Maybe that could be big Incinerates. One Incinerate. Second is going to burn through Shield of Vengeance. Second one almost takes him out. Chokes barely alive. Does get Wings procking. Oh, as the Wings proc, as he's building up with the Blade of Justice for the holy power. Just unable to get himself any more healing beyond that. Chirp opening up onto Kreisbad as a Boomy with a Moonfire off the bat, but that's going to be a Curse of Exhaustion sent at Chirp. I believe he can remove it, but the Succubus can CC Boomies? I thought a Polymorph. I guess you are a humanoid while a boomkin, aren't you? I didn't realize boomies could be seduced by succubuses. Cats can't, bears cannot, travel form cannot, but boomies can? I guess they're technically not beasts, right? So I guess, like, I mean, even the feather friends are into succubuses. I mean, you know, in next match it could be incubuses. You never know. No, bears only care for the honey. Boomkin, you never know, dude. He just likes the succubus named Honey. Oh my goodness. Kreisbad, unable to really get next to Chirp, doesn't really want to walk at him, just wants to keep at bay. Make sure he is maximizing the distance. Succubus CC onto Chirp. As Kreisbad swings around the corner, Chicken Chirp trying to go for a cycle and looks like he's going to go for a heal. No way for Kreisbad to interrupt him. So there is an advantage for Chirp. All his casts are actually going to go through. Quick Fear by Kreisbad. Into a Roar from Chirp. It looked like that was a kind of far roar. Like, that's a bit of a distance in an AoE. Is that just the Boomy extra range buffing the Roar distance? Actually, it might be. Mortal Coil, Chirp, unable to really get away from there, is going to go for a little bit of a re-heal behind the pillar while in bear form. What kind of Lego is Chirp running? Is he Convoking, by the way? Is it Convoke Feral? Or Convoke Boomkin? I'm actually not sure. We haven't seen him use abilities. There goes Convoke. Reflect is off for Kreisbad. Reflect is just back to Chirp. Chirp actually doing damage to himself quite a bit. Picking up the Starburst, but he's at so low health. Knocking up the Succubus. But it is going to be Kreisbad taking him out. That was a little bit of an unforge. With Lyrical God going to be up next, Necrolord, Demon Hunter trying to reverse backflip into Kreisbad, but he catches that Succubus CC onto Lyrical, stunning him down. Bonzafell Cataclysm, the full wombo combo. Lyrical at least procking a demon as long as he can slay the demon and devour its soul. He's going to be able to catch up healing. That's a massive Incinerates available for Kreisbad. Go for the Instacast. Lyrical picking up a little bit of health. Use to activate Metamorphosis as soon as possible to get himself the most amount of healing. Kreisbad going distance and is going to be able to get away super far away from Lyrical as Lyrical stuck back there with an Infernal. That's a lot of damage coming now. Does he have a flash? If he does not, it's going to try to see if he can stun Kreisbad, but Kreisbad shrinks out of it. Needs a couple of globals and he's good. Is going to catch that last Conflagrator or Shadowburn, whatever that was, as the Demon Hunter tried to juke out of there. Second Chokes, which is literally the same name. Siktu Oran Chokes. Second Chokes is going to be up next. Also a Necrolord. I like how one is a girl blood elf, the other is a boy blood elf. Almost like a girlfriend and boyfriend playing together. Or maybe we could just be friends together. You never really know. Gotta be Incinerates. Chokes might have. Oh! I was going to say might just have to bubble, but before I could even finish the sentence. Sentence is much slower than my globals, man. What is going on? Speed Rocks is going to be up next. Is this my man? Is this the warrior friend? Is this the Necrolord warrior, the one and only? Because your Mog and looks are just the same as the warrior version. My guy playing on an alt. Reed Speed. Is this Reed Speed on an alt? Dude, unless it's somebody who just looks like Reed Speed. That looks amazing, by the way. If this is Reed Speed on an alt, it looks fantastic. I like that Warfront gear. It looks so good. Stun around the corner. Scribe's bed lands a Cataclysm on the Hunter. Is going to go for Feign Death. Able to remove the dots off of himself regularly. So that's going to be the advantage for this Hunter. Kreisbet just needs to land a CC chain as reads as speed Qs. We can look up speed Qs, like fast Qs. Is that what that's supposed to be? Like a fast, like arena Qs? Maybe that's his name. Looks like he's going to be dashing damage onto the Succubus. Kreisbet having to summon a full new Succubus, and Speed is going to have to wait in the back. The Succubus is going to approach quick, Feign Death into a camo. The pet still dotted with Immolation as the last seconds of the dot fall off. Is going to disengage back towards the pillar, trying to make advantage. The Succubus whipping him into shape, telling him nope. More to call on to Speed with the fear. Is going to get line of sight for the Casbolt. Super unfortunate. He's going to immolate onto Speed. He's disengaging out of the way. No health whatsoever. Kreisbet could just maybe port back up and maybe finish him off. Just use a Succubus to land the Succubus CC. Just land to Seduce and you'll be good to go. Try to get this line of sight. It's the cast, but Speed doing his very best at night. Feign Death no longer has any dots on him. Maybe he can go for another camo. And Kreisbet is going to be able to see the pet around the corner. Reed Speed again, try to reposition, conflagrate, and down he goes. The Necrolord 1v5 with Chokes actually going for a mil. Damn. And mil 0.5 healing? Jesus Christ, it's a lot. Well, boys, that was some big Destro Necrolord action. Sentries here as well. Yo, let's get you guys in here.